Hey guys, welcome to the Lunchtime Review. Today I'm going to try one of these Marie counters. It says it's a new duos. This one includes meatloaf, red wine, gravy over meatloaf with roasted tri-cut potatoes. So there's a little piece of a meal right there. And then the other half, the other part of the duo is country fried chicken. It's breaded white meat chicken patty smothered in black pepper gravy. So the only side you get is the potatoes. So that's fine. 25 grams of protein. We bought these at Kroger. They were $3.99, which isn't too bad if you ask me. And this is the only place we've seen them is at Kroger. 14.2 ounces or 403 grams for the whole meal. And it is 500 calories if you eat the whole thing. So if you throw the everything in there, it's 500 calories. There's your other info for you. They do have a conventional oven directions if you want to do it in the regular oven. Of course, we don't do ovens on this channel, but if you want to, you can. So the microwave, we're going to... and this is frozen, by the way. So we're going to cut the film to vent, cook on high for 4 minutes, stir potatoes and gravy, and then recover. Cook an additional 4.5 to 5.5. I'll probably do 5. Go right in the middle. Check that food is cooked thoroughly because you have your meat thermometer at your work. And then let it sit for 2 minutes to finish kind of cooking off and enjoy. So 4, stir potatoes and gravy, and then another 5 for me. So let's see what it looks like. Let's have a nice pull tab so you can avoid somewhat of a paper cut. Yeah, so it looks like basically the same size serving as what you get normally, maybe just a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna get this in the microwave. I'm gonna punch a hole on both sides just to kind of vent it, and I'll be back when it's all done cooking. Okay, so here it is out of the microwave. This thing suffers from the same thing it always suffers. Well, the meatloaf looks pretty good. The sauce gets really good and thick. That's no problem at all. Sometimes it gets a little burnt on the edges, but not too bad. So that's that one. That looks fine. The problem with this chicken fried steak, country fried chicken, is the gravy. If you get any thin spots of gravy, see how brown it gets? I mean, I don't mind the crispiness too bad, but it can sometimes get really like almost burnt. If you're not careful. So when you stir your gravy up, make sure you just don't leave any really super thin parts. The breading on this chicken is really, really wet and not, there you go, not crispy at all. So I don't think it would matter if you put it in the oven or not because it has gravy sitting on top of it anyway. So putting it in the oven, I don't think would crisp up the breading anyway. So I don't know what they could do to make it crispy, but whatever, it's not crispy. Unless they put the gravy completely separate and the chicken separate, let you do it on your own. That's the only way I could think of. But anyway, I'm gonna let this cool off a little bit because you can see the steam's rolling off of it, and I'll be back when it's cooled off. Okay, I think it's cooled off enough for me to eat. So I did cut the meatloaf and the chicken up just a little bit to make it easier on video. So I'm gonna take a bite of, try the meatloaf first. I'm gonna try the bite of the meatloaf and a potato. Combined. That's a good flavor. I like the gravy. It has a really good flavor. It's kind of sweet almost. I'm gonna try a potato by itself. Very, very hot. Potatoes are cooked really well. They're soft, but they still have that little like chewy skin on the outside of them, which I like. I like a red potato with that like chewy skin on it. The gravy doesn't seem sweet there, but maybe it was just because I got a little bit of meatloaf and the sauce. So let me try a bite of the meatloaf. It's coming across more savory now. I don't know why it's getting like a little touch of sweet, not like sweet like a barbecue sauce or anything, but it was just a touch sweet. I do taste that brown gravy pretty strongly. It's a decent brown gravy. It has a really good savory flavor to it. It's not overly seasoned like a lot of garlic or onion or anything, but you do get a little bit of that stuff in there. It's just a really good brown gravy, and the meatloaf itself, it's a little mushy for me. It's a little like they added too many breadcrumbs to it and made it a little mushy, but overall, the textures are pretty good. The hamburger in there, the ground beef, whatever, is not overly ground, so it's not these little really fine sand-like pieces. It's a little bit chunkier than that, which is good. I definitely like that. Yeah, it's good. It's got a good meaty flavor. Now, if you like your meatloaf with ketchup on it, which I do, Of course, you're not going to get that flavor with this. You're not going to get that ketchup-y kind of flavor, but you could always squirt some ketchup on there if you wanted to. This is more meatloaf with brown gravy, not meatloaf with ketchup. So just, I know you probably realize that, but I wanted to say it just in case you didn't. Country fried chicken. Like I said, the breading, it's breaded. Yeah, just breaded. I was wondering if it said crispy, but it doesn't, because I think they know they can't get it crispy. The breading is very, very mushy. It's not, doesn't have any crispness at all, because it's all been sitting in gravy, and the gravy's made it wet. They could have not fried it at all. Maybe that adds some of the seasoning to it. I think it adds some of the seasoning. They put some of the seasoning in the breading. But as far as texture goes, really the only texture you get is like this, like a mushy texture with on top of chicken. So it could have just been the gravy on the chicken. It would have been just as fine. Again, maybe they added some seasonings in that breading, but they could have just easily added to the gravy itself. So. Yeah, that chicken literally could have been a piece of baked chicken. It would have been just as good. I like the flavor. I like the texture of the chicken. The chicken is good and moist. It doesn't have it's not a dry piece of chicken, which is a good thing. It's got plenty of moisture in there. The gravy has a really good flavor to it. It's not quite like, it's not like a peppered gravy like you'd have with biscuits and gravy in the South, but it's more of just a white gravy, like a flour-based gravy. It is good. It's got some seasonings to it. It's nothing wrong with it at all. And my biggest complaint is it's just mushy. If you look at the picture on the front, it's kind of funny. Move my little piece of paper. It definitely does not look like that piece of chicken. We see how it's really brown and kind of looks crispy a little bit. You don't get that because it's just mushy. I like both of them. I think I like the texture of the meatloaf and the potatoes better, but I like the flavor of the chicken better. So if the chicken had been, the breading had been just a little bit firmer, crisper, not mushy, I probably would have said that's the one I would buy. But if you want a duo, if you want something that's combined two meals together, basically these are just the two individual meals. They just kind of, it seems like they cut the portion size a little bit and stuck them together. I know there's not as many potatoes in the meatloaf. And the meatloaf seems smaller. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I didn't look at compare them with ounces to ounce or anything. I didn't compare them. It just, from my memory, it seems a little smaller. But it might not be. But if you want this combined meal, I think it's good. I think it's a good combo. They picked a good mix of meatloaf and chicken. It goes good together. I'm one of the type of people that would eat all of one thing and then eat the other thing. I'm not go back and forth generally, but that's just how I eat. You know, everybody eats differently. You might take a bite of each and go back and forth. Just everybody's different. I'm gonna give the meal overall, I'm gonna give, I don't know, I'll give it a 3.5. It's not spectacular. It's not bad by any means, but the chicken breading definitely needed some work on it. The flavor of the meatloaf itself, it's a little mush. I mean, the texture of the meatloaf itself is a little mushy. I wish they'd put a little bit less breadcrumbs in there and it was more meaty, but you don't want a hamburger patty either. So they just needed to adjust that a little bit for me. My personal preferences. You might think it's perfectly fine. So 3.5 for me. Each individual meal by itself is also really good. So you could go buy just the individual meals if you're interested, or if you get the duo, I think you'll be happy. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching.